You can have it all. Today's topic is 3 steps to healing your life. Stop blocking yourself from healing your life. Now, we have a workshop today, which means you're going to lay out what your new plan is for healing your life. If you feel that you are ready and willing and able to heal your life, then I have a really great 30-minute curriculum for you. And then after the 30-minute training, we'll go into a 30-minute conversation about it after the actual 3 steps are laid out for you today. So get your pen and notebook out, get ready. And we're going to get serious right off the top since we only have 30 minutes for this Heal Your Life workshop, 3 steps. Okay, so step number 1 is get real with yourself and take inventory of your issues. And then once you've done that, you are ready to get going. So that's step number 1. Now, inside of step number 1, get real with yourself and take inventory of your issues. You should have a list written down of all the issues that you feel are in the way of you feeling like you have a whole and healthy and wonderful life, the things that you feel are causing you to need to heal your life. Now, if you are unsure of what's holding you back, that's where you hire a coach, a healer, a trained consultant, somebody who at least has credentials and certification in life coaching, neurolinguistics, programming, counseling of some nature. Okay. And then if you're unsure of what your issues are that are holding you back, then have a professional sit with you either on Zoom or in person and recognize what it is that's holding you back. Have somebody come in and take a look, open up, become vulnerable, be willing to, admit your mistakes or shortcomings or problems that are going on in your life, and be fully honest too. You can't just leave out humongous chunks of information and then expect this professional to help you, even if they're a psychic medium and divine channel like myself, because we have spiritual laws that we have to follow. We are not allowed to go into pockets of information that you have on lockdown that you don't want brought to light, that you don't want people to actually know about. If you have that information on lockdown and your intention is to keep it private and secret and not let your life coach or counselor or healer or hypnotist, neurolinguistics programming practitioner, somebody who has life coaching training, a certification, which we do have a course for that inside of our academy called Becoming a Certified Divine Channel NLP, Neurolinguistics Programming Life Coach. We have levels 1, 2, and 3. And it's really a good idea to take a course like that if you're in the process of healing your life, because learning the modality in order to help others will help you, especially when you're able to see other people in the healing process, in the journey, because it's easier to see what they're doing wrong than it is to see it in your own self. But then when you see it in someone else, you're able to go, OMG, that's what I have going on, because God really works to feed 2 birds with 1 seed. I've noticed that God will bring the perfect clients to the life coach to either let them help them with something they've already become victorious over and already healed and cleared, or something to wake up the coach as far as that they need to work on that in their own life. So it's quite interesting how God works in bringing 2 people together that are divinely guided to be working together. Now, that's number 1. Again, if you've been working on this for a while to get real with yourself, to take inventory of your issues, and you have not been able to really figure it out. You've been working on your life, you've been committed, you've been following a plan, and you're not getting where you want to be, then you need to hire a professional to help you. And you might even need two. You might need one that handles certain things, that is, for instance, like myself, a divine channel, a neurolinguistics programming practitioner, a life coach. And you might need somebody, if you're already on some kind of medication, for instance, you might need a psychiatrist that knows the medication world to work with you to change it around, to maybe get the right one. We're not against medication in a holistic integrative practice. Integrative means that we believe all modalities can work together as a team to help a person get where they need to be in their life. And sometimes we only need medication for a shorter period of time. It doesn't have to be a life sentence. It might just be like a actual, it could be like a walker to get you walking, right? Or training wheels to get you riding your bike. For instance, just a short-term trainer in order to help you get some things sorted out, get working on things in your life. The other thing is, maybe it's not that, but maybe you need a nutritionist, because one of the chief problems is if we're not eating properly, we will go downhill super quickly. We think, oh, we just have to nibble on a few things here or there. But if we're not getting enough nutrition, especially enough greens in our life, so definitely get your salads in, your green vegetables, your broccoli, your spinach, your green beans, of lettuce of all types, because greens are a multi pharmacy all in of themselves. You've got a pharmacy right there. So vegetables are key, but definitely the greens are what we leave out a lot. And then also the fruits, because if we aren't getting the proper nutrition, then depression sets in, anxiety sets in, our neurotransmitters don't work really well. We'll get out of balance. We can get mood swings. We can have highs and lows. And then it's really hard to stay really grounded. Also, too much caffeine. And some of us just can't have any caffeine. I remember years ago, I just had to take myself off of caffeine, and that did a world of good for me. And I had to switch over to tea or decaf coffee, organic, so it's not loaded with chemicals. It's definitely more expensive than regular decaf, but it is a good investment, especially if you're just going to let yourself have 1 cup a day if you love coffee. So you might need to find 1 or 2 professionals that are going to be able to help you. Now, a really good life coach will be able to, like myself, I will assess who else you need helping you on your team. And we'll pull that in. I'll ask your spiritual counsel, all your guardian angels and guides, and your higher self, what other professionals that you need. A good life coach will be able to admit when something is not their specialty, and they're able to suggest and recommend a different type of a professional that's going to be working with you so that you have a team. All right, that's number 1, getting real with yourself, taking inventory of your issues. And then if you're unsure of what's holding you back because you've been at it a while, you've been trying, then get a professional to help you to recognize what's holding you back. That's basically where we do an assessment. So the first step I do in an initial consultation with somebody is an assessment. And if you feel like you've already had that done and you're even working with me and you're in a group, but you feel like you're off track, maybe you need a recheck. Maybe we need to go in and do a recheck, okay, in order to see where you're at now. All right, number 2 on the 3-step list. This is, and get ready for this, create a strategic plan and get help to do it. Don't make your own strategic plan. If you've been trying to heal your life for a while and you're not getting where you want to be, you need an outside professional opinion to come in and help you. They should have a series of questions that you have to fill out, and then they should be able to go in and ask you more questions, interview you, and then collectively collaborate with you. And how I work is I also collaborate with your higher self, your spiritual counsel, and then we create the strategic plan with you. Of course, it's yours. At the end of the day, you're able to say, no, I don't really see how I could possibly do that. Is there any other options? And then we might say, well, there's also option B and option C. However, if you do A, you'll get there way faster. If you do B, it might take twice as long. And if you do C, you may never get there at all. So then we'll kind of explain that so that you can make an educated and an informed decision. That's why I only love working with trainers, healers, and life coaches that are either divine channels or psychic mediums that also have credentials and training. They're not just only gifted, but they have grounded scientific or proven strategy training. So in my course, in my academy, we are teaching you a proven method. And in levels 2 and 3 of that divine channel NLP life coach, there is a whole section on learning strategic planning for your clients, levels, beginners and advanced levels. So part of the modality inside of the master teacher course and CEO business development course inside of the becoming a certified divine channel NLP life coach, levels 2 and 3 is got all these advanced tools in there. One of them is the strategic planning. If you take the course, you can actually get all the help you need for yourself so that you can work with the teacher, the trainer, which is me inside the course, and with all the other students to get your strategic plan. And then you'll be able to work your plan because it's been professionally designed with somebody who's trained from the outside and not emotionally attached to your outcome. So that's the role that I play as the administrator and the teacher within the course. Once you understand how to do a strategic plan for somebody else, because you've received the training on how to do it for them, you will then know how to do it for yourself. And then you'll be able to reinvent it along the way down the road. And you may only get your professional teacher to come in or counselor or coach, healer to come in just to verify it for you because you want to make sure you've got it just right and want to confirm what you already feel that you know. And then that's nice because then you feel like, okay, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm not going to spend the next 3 months on this strategic plan when it really wasn't validated from a professional who understands me and has really asked a lot of questions, had me fill out a form, has done an inventory assessment with me, not just somebody who's just kind of, done a 30 or 1 hour reading with you, blah, 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 but didn't actually collect any data. So you need a professional who collects data. So anybody who's worked with me knows that you're going to get an email. You're going to have to fill out about 7 or 8 questions, and they're very detail oriented. And you're going to be answering everything from your whole timeline of all the traumas and all the wins you've had in your life. There's a lot of questions that go into it in order to prepare for a strategic planning session. Once you've had the strategic planning session done, and we're still inside of number 2, you then have to have an accountability partner to help you. So they're going to help you stay positive. They're going to help you to not give up, and they're going to help you to stay on track, because oftentimes people will just all of a sudden get confused on what their plan is, and then they'll have like plan of the day. I'm actually typing this in and making notes. Those of you who want the notes, I'll email them to you later. I'm making class notes for you. And I hope you're taking notes too. So some people, they have a strategic plan, it's in place, but then like within 7 or 14 or 21 days, they're off track and they've come up with a whole new plan. They're rogue, they've gone off plan, and they haven't consulted their professional who helped them to set up the plan in the first place and said, hey, I feel like I need to tweak my plan. Well, tweaking is one thing. When you just tweak it a little bit, that's fine. But if you completely change it, you might want to check with a professional to see if they say, yeah, that's all lines up. Yep, you're good to go. The reason why is the smartest people like myself and you in the room today, we're all very intelligent people, right? But with that said, we do get emotionally attached to the outcome of being happy and healthy and living our dreams and our goals. And sometimes we get impatient and we think, oh, there's a quicker way, and we want to cut corners. Cutting corners only lands you back where you were before, and oftentimes way worse off, because we think, oh, I'm going to throw some money over here and this is going to make it faster. And then we're out of the money. It didn't make it faster. And in fact, now we owe money because we signed up for something that wasn't even going to get us where we needed to go. And it's because we're racing there because we feel like timing is of the essence. We have to hurry up and get there. I don't have any time to be in this position in my life anymore. You might feel that financially you can't afford to be there anymore and you have to hurry up and make money. But the decisions sometimes that we make when we're in a rush can be really bad. And then it can make us have to do 10 times more work to climb ourselves out of the problems we just got ourselves into by going rogue. And so having a really good accountability partner, life coach, work with you and then keep your meetings. So if you're supposed to meet with your life coach once a month, then meet with them. Or if it's once a week or every other week, you might be in a group program. In a group program, it is very helpful if you feel like you're doing pretty good and you don't need to have your hand held. But if you feel like, geez, you know what, I've fallen on my face a number of times here. I think I need to put myself on a short leash and have my hand held for the next 3 to 6 months just to get myself there. All the best of us, we're all empowered women. And we all have had successes in our life and we've all achieved things that are marvelous. However, we still all need help sometimes, and we have to be able to admit it when we do. I have had to hire a number of people along my journey to get where I am with my personal life and with my business. And I'm no different than anyone else who's a high achiever, who's got an amazing business and has a lot going on in their personal life that they manifested from scratch when they didn't have a lot going on and they had to make it happen and turn their life around. I'm a perfect example of healing your life. And so when I look over the last 20 years of my life, 30 years of my life, what I did right, what I did wrong, I realized where I wasted a lot of time and caused myself a lot more work than needed. And I'm trying to save all of you a lot of time and energy and money and frustration and unnecessary turmoil to get there in a better way that's sustainable and that it will stick. Because sometimes we race there, we cut a bunch of corners and we're like, I've arrived. And then it all falls apart. We lose it all and we're back to square one again. Or worse off, we're even below that because now we have to fix all the mess that we made. And then we find out racing there and cutting corners is such a bad idea. And we really just need a sound, reasonable, concrete strategic plan. And we have to have a lot of patience. And then we need our accountability partner. I remember calling my coach one day and crying, and I was all sad and I felt like I wasn't getting where I wanted to go. And I felt like I was falling into some kind of a depression. This was like 12 years ago. And my healer life coach said to me, what happened to your personal commercial? I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm sexy, where you dance around and you get yourself positive and happy. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot that. She's like, you're the one that taught me that. You forgot your own thing. And I was like, oh yeah. But do you see how valuable it was for me to talk to her so she could remind me? And it got me back on track, because what was I doing? I wasn't staying positive. And that's part of number 2 is when you create your strategic plan and you have a coach and accountability partner help you, they will. Why do you have them help you? Because they're going to do 3 things for you. They're going to help you stay positive, not give up, and stay on track. Stay positive, not give up, and stay on track. You need someone to help you with that. It's not easy to do it without a partner to help you. And so sometimes trying to get somebody who you know to be your partner isn't the best idea. I mean, sometimes it works, but sometimes you try to get like your son or your daughter or your wife or your husband or your mother or your father or your best friend to do it. But they know your whole life story. They know all the things you've been through. And sometimes they can get dragged down into the negativity, or they can point out your past failures or mistakes. And then you're feeling sad and it's not positive for you anymore. And you don't want to feel sad with the person who's your accountability partner. Your accountability partner, your mentor, that's another word for it. Your mentor is going to be your educated cheerleader. I don't want to just say cheerleader, because if all they're doing is going, you can do it, you can do it, that is only going to get you so far. The education behind it means that they have to say, look, you've already gotten this far. You've turned this around. You're no longer taking 10 days to recuperate from somebody being mean to you. Now you're recuperating in 24 hours. You've closed the gap of time where you're having a meltdown and unable to function. And so a professional will say that to you, and they'll be able to go, you went from 10 days to 1 day. Look at that. You're kicking butt and taking no prisoners. Bravo. Let's keep going. Pretty soon we're going to get you down to that. It's going to be a 1 hour turnaround, and it won't even take you down for 1 day. See, these are the things. And then when your coach or your mentor has been working with you for a while, they can remind you, but remember where you were when I met you and we started working together. And then we'll say, now look where you are. You actually have come super far in, and we might say 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, whatever it is, and be able to remind you. And then you're able to go, oh my God, you're so right. Well, if you could do that in 12 months, what do you think you can do in the next 12 months? And see, that person who's got a relationship with you that's been guiding and nurturing you along the way is very beneficial, because they're able to see the timeline of your growth after the efforts that you've been making. If you're always getting a brand new life coach, a brand new healer, a brand new counselor, you won't grow any moss with them. What do I mean is, like, once the tree is planted, it starts growing moss on it because it's been there a while, and it understands the length of time, the growth. It might be a 20-year plant, 20-year tree. So if you can find someone who can grow with you, find somebody who you're like, I want to grow my life and have this person be on my A team. Because each time I go for another goal, I know this person can remind me, well, look, you did that and you got all that done in 1 year, or it might be in 6 months. Look, okay, this, I can see you easily doing this in another year, maybe even sooner. Let's get this done. Okay. And the relationship is vital, because without that relationship where there's a connection and you feel like they've grown to really understand your strengths, your weaknesses, your pluses, your minuses, and really be invested in the process of your journey of life, where they feel like, hey, I've already put 2 years in, or 5 or 10 years in with you, and we're going to the next level, because it's like, it almost becomes a game where it's like, yep, we're going to win this one too. Do you see what I'm saying? So you want to develop a relationship, stick with someone who's taken the time and energy to professionally get to know you, work with you, invest in you, and really fall in love with the journey of your life with you. Yes, I did say that. Fall in love with the journey of your life. Anybody who's working with me knows, and anybody who's signed up for a program and they're doing either private one-on-one coaching, or they're in one of our courses, you will know that I want it for you just as much as you want it for yourself, and sometimes even more than you want it for yourself. So you want someone who you can tell that they are totally geeking out. Like, I feel like I'm a work geek because I am so in love with what I do. And when we decide to come together, the two of us, you and me, we're going to make it happen. And I always say, I always play to win. I don't play to fail. So if you're going to be with me and you're going to be on my team, we're going to win. And that does scare some people, because some people don't feel that they're ready to win and they're still self-sabotaging. So I'll say, do you want me to help you remove or heal the blocks that are self-sabotaging? And then they'll either say yes, or I'm not quite ready yet, but I'll call you when I am. Most people say yes because they usually don't start talking to somebody like me till they are ready. But some people are like, I'm going to cook a little while and noodle a little while and see what I can do, and then I'll let you know. Now, that's number 2. So again, let me review that. Create a strategic plan, get a professional to help you do it. If you haven't been able to do it already, like if you've been working on things for a while and you feel like you keep hitting a wall or hitting the glass ceiling, Well, I spent too many years trying to figure it out myself, and I kept hitting a wall and hitting a glass ceiling, and then my confidence was going down and I didn't believe in myself, and that was really a waste of time. I should have just gotten somebody to help me a lot sooner. Maybe I just needed to be sold on the idea that I had to invest time and money and energy in doing homework and answering to somebody. Maybe I didn't want to answer to somebody, but I finally figured out answering to myself wasn't working. So if you feel like, hey, I want to escalate this, I want to accelerate this, I want to put the accelerator on, then reach out to me. Go to my website, CamilleConti.com, and in the contact us page, fill out the little form with your email and put in there what you would like help with. And then that'll come over to our office, and then we'll reach out to you and we'll offer you an initial consultation. And in that initial consultation, that the initial consultation does have a fee for it. We have various different packages available. And inside that initial consultation, we'll lay out a strategic plan for you. And then if you don't decide to follow the strategic plan, you feel like I want to do something else, we're probably not a good match. But most people love the strategic plan and they like help. And then we go on the journey together, and we'll set up whether we're going to be meeting once a month, once every other week, or whether you're going to be in a group class in the Unleash Your Fully Empowered Self and Happy Life class, and we'll get you going. So keep in mind that there is never an obligation once we set up that initial consultation, because we have to make sure that we have where we feel like we can make miracles and magic happen together, where we have really good rapport and we're excited to work together. And it has to be a mutual thing. You're interviewing me, I'm interviewing you. And together we decide if we're a match made in heaven to make goals and dreams happen. That's really how it works. Okay, so number 2 is that. Now moving on to the big number 3. Get your pen and paper out again. And here it is. Do not do the 3 C's: compare, criticize, and complain. Do not compare yourself to others. Do not criticize yourself, and don't complain about your life. Because once you've got your strategic plan and you've got your accountability partner or your mentor and you're working with them, you can kill it all if you do the 3 C's: compare yourself to others, criticize yourself, or complain about your life. That will bury you alive. I know. I accidentally was doing those until I was called out on the carpet and had to use self-discipline to not do it. And you might just be doing one of them. Don't compare yourself with others. Don't criticize yourself, and don't complain about your life anymore. Complaining blocks your blessings, by the way. The blessings are coming in, God's sending them to you, and then all of a sudden, chop. Your complaining basically chops them all up, and then you're not going to be receiving them. So shut up and stop complaining. Also, stop criticizing, because that's basically the same thing. And stop comparing yourself, because half the time we don't even know everything about the person that we're comparing ourselves to. We just see things that we're jealous of, or we think, how did they get there? But we don't realize all the work they did to get there. When somebody's jealous of me, I always laugh and go, are you kidding me? I don't think you'd be jealous of me if you knew how hard it was to get where I'm at, and how much work and how much dedication, and how I wasn't willing to quit. I didn't give up on myself, and I dusted myself and off and kept going and got going again. Paid more money to a professional for either a course, a training, or a coach in order to help me get to the next level with my business. All right. Or with the next level with my healing, my well-being. All right. So I always say that I remember years ago, I had a guy come over to my house because we were trying to start dating, and he actually had the audacity to say, where's all your money? And he said, look, you even have an old-fashioned, outdated television. And I thought, this guy is not for me. There's the door. Don't let it hit you in the ass. Because I was thinking, are you kidding me? Where's all your money? And I said, you know where it is? I invested in myself and in my son, and we're doing great. And if you're here if you're looking for a, what did I call it? A sugar mama, I am not your girl. I am sorry. And I remember years ago, one thing that my dad taught me is the best investment is investing in yourself and investing in the people that you love. And that has held true. So I always say there's my multi-million-dollar kid and myself as well, because we put the time, energy, and money into getting healthy, getting well, and being happy and achieving our goals and achieving our dreams. And it's paid off tenfold. I will tell you that. Okay, so as part of number 3, instead, you're going to do the other 3 C's. You're going to commit, cooperate, and cash in on it. So what do I mean? Commit to your strategic plan, cooperate with yourself and with your mentor and coach. And then 3, cash in on the work you've done, meaning you've put a lot of work in, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money, and you're going to cash in and you're going to reap the rewards and you're going to be living a healthy, happy, fruitful life. And it's going to look the way you wanted it to look, whether it's that you've brought in your divine equal spouse and you're happily married to the one that you want, possibly even your twin flame, if that's what's in the highest and greatest and best for you in this lifetime. Maybe it's that you have developed the business that you've always wanted and you're profitable and your clients love you and you love them. And it's a win-win situation for everyone around. So depending, or you have the job of your dreams, or maybe you have a job that you enjoy, it's bringing in a nice income and you're happy with the fact that you got back to work because you had quit work for a while and you knew that you really needed to not only get an income flow coming in, an income revenue, but you also needed to get back out in the world and deal with other people, even if it was a challenge, like even if it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, because dealing with people is not always the easiest thing to do. So there you go. Those are your 3 C's of what you do need to do: commit, cooperate, and cash in. All right. So now that we've got all of our 3 items, we're going